at me, I'm what you see. But can you tell the price in heat? I can tell you what I need. But 20 quid will buy a bottle of tea.
Questions?
We're rolling. It's not an interview, but what's up, Simrin Gupta? Thanks for joining me.
Hello,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you for having me.
So you never actually sat down in such a formal way. And not that this is formal, but there's never been this much of a fucking setup.
This
and
is not.
it's
This
just
is the most informal it's been for me
for
for anything. Because I have taken interviews before, and it's been I've had a sheet of questions, and I'm just like, dub.
See, I'm not interviewing you. This is not that. It's not that formal. Neither are you that important. Also.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Oh man, okay. So
Yeah.
for people who don't know what you're doing, I know we can't mention any names over here, but
Mention any
care to
names
introduce
or
yourself to the
mention-
watchers, to the
Yes.
OnlyFans, who is Simrin Gupta?
Okay, hi mummy. I think you already know me because I think only she'll watch this podcast. I hope she doesn't actually. but the
Exactly.
thing
I was
is
just like, your
never
mom's gonna
mind.
have a different impression of me if she does.
Okay, no,
Just-
no, not mummy. Let me say hi friends. 2-3 of
France.
your audience that is watching. I am Simrin, and I am Simrin Gupta, and Simrin Gupta actually, and my friends call me Simrin, and you can call me Simrin too.
Simi G.
Simi
No,
G.
Simi G. Simi
Oh yeah,
G.
that's my Ajay.
Simrin Gupta
Simi G.
bewafa hai.
I don't even know what that is, where that came from. It sounds
What pop culture?
So
You don't
tapori.
understand.
so tapori. I know a few tapori people who used to say this to me. I can't remember them, but
This
yeah.
straight out of UP things.
Yeah. Simran. Oh yes, I know what used to say to me in college, and I used to think, wow, what taporis? Like what taporis? Straight out of UP things, bang on.
What do you do, Simran?
So I spend my time listening to Nikhil about his sex stories and how they are such a hit. So I think that I've made a career out of that. Yeah, most of the time for this.
You just made friends telling them about my sexual history, haven't you? Just
You see
the
how
failures.
just
Made it just. I love it. Like no one's fucking done this to me before. This is awesome.
You've been attacking, but you've never been attacked.
Exactly. This is what I
Love
enjoy because you can always fuck people up, Simran. You're a dangerous person to sit across, and I love it. It's like playing with.
Not
it's like playing with
at
fire.
all. Not
Like-
at all. Not. I know, I'm not gonna be dangerous as
just
maybe
gonna
I come
subtly
off as.
slide in every
Yeah, unlike you.
stupid thing that I've said, and then just over the course of maybe 45 minutes, just completely fuck me up,
Slide
and
in
then
subtly, unlike you who can't even get that much in.
you just say hello, myself Nikhil, and I like bra panties.
Okay, Nikhil. Goodbye. And once in a while you get lucky, and those times, it's like you should really sit down in front of Ganpati Papa and go like, thank you.
But so you're a journalist over
Yes,
here in
I'm a
Dubai,
journalist.
in a reputed
And I
media
expose
company.
the turkeys of Dubai.
Okay.
Hmm.
But no, so Simran works.
I'm working on you right now.
Just
There's a whole investigation going on.
and then all
Do
of a
you-
sudden there's just she's gathering enough intel over here, and people are going to be busting right through my.
So
doors
when he
soon.
invited me to his house, like, come for a podcast, I'm just like, yeah, oh, and in my mind, I'm just like, yes, I get to explore his living quarters, get information from the inside now. Maybe like cahoot with the parents, put on some
Keep some spy cams when I wasn't looking, and
hidden
just
mics and stuff around the house in your bookshelves, and I'm sure the books you've never touched also in your life.
Hey, those are okay. I've read that entire Rose Mine and
Harry
I've read
Potter.
through, the Harry Potter and the Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
the Savita Bhabi and the encyclopedias.
Where are the Savita
I'm
Bhabis?
just kidding. That's in my phone and laptop.
Oh my god, you have to send me.
Not watch it.
It's illegal. Not illegal, but it's banned. Blocked in Dubai.
I'm not going to be. Yeah, let's not because it's
Let's
going on in
not.
public. There's ways to get access to such information.
Yeah.
But earlier, a couple of episodes ago, we had Ricky on the podcast where we would.
Oh my god, Ricky and his bikini shoot. Damn, dude, I think that has left Dubai shook.
What is this
His
bikini shoot?
shoot video, you didn't see? Bikini shoot. You didn't see? I'll
No.
show you after. It was damn good. I think one of his best work.
Where is it?
Must be on his Instagram.
Like when I was talking to him, and we're like, you're a dude, like both of you guys have like a fuck ton of followers on social media, and you guys like, talk about shit. You guys, share, like he entertains, right? And you go share experiences and stuff. So we talked about like thoughts and opinions, especially if it's political statements or if it's like something to do with society, and what your views are on like certain developments, right, that are happening, whether it's in locally, whether it's worldwide or wherever, right? And he stressed on a point saying that as an entertainer, he doesn't indulge in a lot of opinion sharing because like his audience may be split, and he doesn't really want to stir up any controversy or choose sides openly or antagonize anyone, right?
Yeah.
But and that was one point of view, but you're someone who's like on the other side, right? You don't give a fuck. You stand up for what you believe in.
Yeah.
And I actually dig that a lot because I think that takes balls.
Oh, thanks.
Like it really takes balls to like make a statement, stand up to it. And even more respect is actually engage in conversations with people who, and we've done this before, I think, like like you've like shared shit, and like I've disagreed or agreed, or like we've talked about stuff, and you have this energy to actually sit and reply to people. Like I think I at least spoke to you in a way that wasn't very hostile. I was like, oh, why do you think this? And I disagree. Like it was that.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure there was people like, wow, what are you saying? You're fucking wrong. You're a bitch. You fucking a whore. Why are you talking your mouth? Shut up your mouth.
Yeah.
Did you have to deal with those kind of people?
Okay, so I think the difference, firstly, if you want to, let me address from the beginning. Ricky is an entertainer. I'm not an entertainer. I'm a journalist.
Okay.
And I, whatever I promote companies and experiences, it's not on my platform. I promote it through my for the company that I work for. And on mine, I just like post snippets of a video that I edited. It's cute. I'll post it on mine. Otherwise, I don't do any. I'm not a blogger or influencer or anything. I'm a journalist. Okay. So for me, yeah, like I don't care if I do get into entertainment, whatever it is. My thing is, if I have a opinion or a stance on or a particular issue, I will very much be vocal about it. And I get all sorts of people messaging me. Now, I have people who genuinely want to have a discussion like you and maybe a couple others who want to, they are open to listening to the other side. And if they feel that other side makes sense, they will change their opinion. Right? That is how you have a discussion. Even I'm open to discussing. Now, if I feel like, okay, you know what, you're right, my opinion will change.
100%.
And I will be more informed. And I don't actually speak without being informed in the first place. But if there is more information, I'm so open to listening to that, taking that in. Now, there are people that message you because they want to fucking fight. They want to say, listen, you're wrong. What you're saying is wrong. You're a dumbass bitch. Kill yourself. Now that it's like, bro, like, I'm not gonna respond to that shit.
Yeah.
Like, I know where it's heading, and I don't have the time. Like, I have a lot of stuff to do. I'm not gonna like a discussion, of course, like, to have a proper discuss something without it turning into a hostile fight or something. For sure, like I'll go that path. But otherwise, I don't entertain conversations that are, just they want to pick a fight. I don't entertain those conversations.
How do you feel about journalism in, I'm not even going to mention places, but like
in Dubai?
Where fuck it, we said it. Like, do you feel like freedom of speech or like
the place where I live, but let's not name the place where I live.
if they can do the math and put it together, that's on them. Like,
do it together.
Yeah. No, but where we are right now, like, how do you think journalism works?
I would say, like, if you have to be a journalist in Dubai, it's a lot of fluff. Mostly fluff. If you want to thrive as a journalist here, or like, kind of make a living out of it or something, not. But if you're pursuing hardcore journalism, then of course be ready to have like 1 million cases being slapped on you. And I think that's anywhere in any part of the world,
But over here, I think that's even harder, right? Because if those cases come from like one powerful party, they can fuck you up. Like,
Actually, that's everywhere. Because now thinking of it, in India, Arnab is behind bars. For what? For trying to expose Mumbai government. And I think what's happening with him is complete injustice with Arnab Goswami.
I just wanted to check, like, I just know that he got arrested. I didn't really see what happened.
So they dug out a case of his from the past where he was accused of abetting suicide, and that case was closed, or it was not closed, like it was just paused or closed. Okay, and now Mumbai, it was like so many years ago, and now because of all the recent things that Arnab has dug out on the Mumbai government and Mumbai police, they are targeting him and Kangna, and they've demolished a house, and they're trying to
Yeah, it's really fucked
close
up.
down the
The
Republic
studio.
Station. They're trying to put him behind bars. And I will tell you one thing, Indians, majority of them are sheep. If they are seeing the trend is hating on someone, they will also hate,
Yeah.
and they will pick on the same reasons to hate. And if you support bhakts, it's not bhakts. Think out of your, like, instead of thinking of your ass, think out of your brain for a second. Leave what people are saying and see facts there. He did fight for a cause, and now because of that cause, things are being dug out on him,
That's
and
a
he's been put out.
BJP and the Shiv Sena. Like that's like a battle happening there, right? Like because he's
No, Shiv Sena is not anything. I don't know exactly what
because
Shiv
the
Sena
whole
is
thing
not a
was
part
Shiv
of
Sena
BJP.
took power back in Maharashtra. Like initially there was a BJP government CM in Maharashtra, and like Amit Shah pulled something. I don't remember the exact details of it, but like apparently Amit Shah pulled some move, and like he held something overnight and got a BJP guy elected as CM. And he resigned within like 50 something days, and then gave power to, and the new CM was Uddhav Thackeray, who's
Oh, I
a
thought
Shiv
it was
Sena
like
official.
just like a dictator kind of thing happening in Mumbai for
No,
so
there
long.
was one thing, but like I mean, Shiv Sena has like stupid amounts of power over Maharashtra. Like no one's really been able to usurp them over there.
Is this like
They've like
properly what do you say, not unscripted, like uncensored?
Yeah,
We can
100%.
talk about how fucked up Shiv Sena is.
Like we can. I don't know history as such, but like I just know that those guys are stupidly strong. And like earlier they had allied with BJP, and then that thing broke down, and they've just been doing their own thing. That they're kind of. I've never understood that party because like media.
My way or the highway? With
Yeah,
Shiv
because that's
Sena.
also the way the media portrays it, right? Because the new thing again is that you can't trust media anywhere, like in any country, whether it's the US or whether it's
Of course,
India.
there's agenda everywhere.
Everyone's going to be portraying it in a very biased way. So the shit that we're reading, right? If you're reading it from Times of India, it's a fucking joke. Like, where do you get the right information from? Who's portraying it in a neutral way, right? They always want to word it in some
no matter
biased
how
way.
much you can churn the words and make it biased, but the facts, not facts, like the plot line will still remain the same no matter which way you say it. No matter, okay, for example, Cinderella, you can say that she played the victim the whole time, and her stepmother was doing this to her, and her stepsisters were not doing anything to her. You can make her actually look like the victim instead of her playing the victim, but the fact still remained that she was the stepdaughter, and like that was the stepmom, and she had stepsisters. Like the story is still the same no matter who plays the victim in it. And even for these things that the media puts out, there is still the story is the same.
There's like a good 70%, but it's also the way they've given emphasis to certain plot lines. Sometimes they take one thing, they take it out of context, and the other time they don't provide the rest of what they
Exactly,
said.
that is
Like
true. Yeah.
one of them would be like, "Oh, I fucked his mom," and it could probably just be some like they just said that, they only capture that, and what he said before could have been, "Oh, this would have been great if, he got mad at me for saying I'd fuck his mom." Like, there's a completely different context right behind it, and they just
Yeah.
take that one thing and they,
That's
and they
true.
say that this is what the guy
happens
did.
so much, yes.
Like, and
That's a
it's
big
not just
problem.
media in politics, it's
Just for
media
TRPs, they do
anywhere.
that,
It's
yeah.
anywhere against anyone. But again, with Arnab, I was under the assumption that, like, he was regarded as a stooge of BJP politics, that Republic essentially was a media outlet for BJP. There's nothing wrong in that. Like, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's like the way NDTV is for Congress, right? Because, and this is really dumb that I know US politics more than I know Indian politics, but it's the same way how Fox News is very right leaning,
Yeah.
and CNN and Washington Post are very left leaning. Like,
Yeah.
they'll always be like, "Yeah, Trump chut, yeah." Like, and Fox will be like, "Oh, Trump is fucking amazing. He did this, that." Like,
Yeah.
and it's the same way India operates. So I feel that
100% for sure.
it's some shit that
Yeah.
because Arnab was trying to dig up dirt on Shiv Sena, they just try to do him dirty because they think by putting him in, they're sort of sending a message to BJP. Maybe I'm talking
But
out of
what
my
is
ass.
this
If you guys feel
hooliganism?
different, just comment below if you think I'm wrong. Educate
No,
me.
I don't think. No, not at all. You're completely right. But I don't care. I mean, like, I don't think if it's like, he's a Congress or BJP or for Shiv Sena, like the man is trying to, to find the truth for a case. He's trying to find the truth for Sushant. Now, I know that's targeting huge people who are behind this as well. Must be Thackeray's, honestly, from what all I'm hearing. But
Do you think it's just a thing to like
this is hooliganism.
do you feel like it's that's whole like Sushant case, like as sad as it is, the amount of negative media attention it got, like, do you think it was done just to divert people's attention from actual problems that
I'll
that
tell
the
you
country is facing?
One, like there are just a couple of things. If you think of it straight, you kind of understand it's a big ass cover up. Because number one, if it was a suicide, CBI would have kind of declared it a suicide from the very beginning. It's pretty obvious if it's a suicide, which it still has not been declared. Number two, it's pretty obvious that Mumbai police is trying to cover up for someone, and they will
Sure.
not be covering up for Riya Chakraborty.
Yeah,
Who
I
is
didn't even
she?
know who the fuck she
We
was
didn't
to
even know
begin
who
with.
she was until this case. Mumbai police will not be like Riya Chakraborty, Shobik Chakraborty, and then small drug peddling.
And the
They're not
worst
going
thing
to
is,
be
like, they
covering up.
got caught for weed. Like,
No,
I,
other drugs also they got caught for.
I mean, the biggest thing was there was like the one big charge they had against them was for weed. And the thing was, they're like, they roamed around with 50 grams of weed. And I was with my family watching. I was like, I was walking around with this much when I was in Bangalore visiting my friends. Like, that was the amount I carried in my backpack, for fuck's sake. Like, why would you get arrested for that? Like,
Yeah,
who the
would
fuck
you
goes
wanna
like,
say that?
who the fuck goes like,
I don't think.
chal
it's-
isko maar dalte hain, bro. Like, what, dude? Stoners don't kill people. Stoners sit back and they struggle to get out of their own chair.
No,
What
but
makes
it's
you
not
think?
smoking. They did
this-
drug peddling.
Okay, what? They sold weed to someone. They sold
No,
some
we
acid.
don't know that. There might be more to it, right? Like that we don't know, because apparently she's been giving drugs to Sushant, like administrating drugs
Oh,
to him
like,
without.
you mean like weird pharmaceutical drugs that have like
I don't know the names.
fucked up
I don't
effects?
even remember the names, but it mostly might be just like hash weed, whatever. But like if it was done without his knowledge, or antidepressants, if he was being
Oh yeah, that's a
administered.
big issue.
Yeah, and she kept saying he was depressed. And what if she's administered him with the antidepressants? But not even that. The thing is, Mumbai police will not cover up for her. There must be a bigger thing. And Disha Salian's case, how Mumbai police lost her entire file before it was even declared. Like, it's a murder. Disha Salian, the way people are saying
Yeah.
she was like found so
Dead.
many meters away from her building. If she jumped, she won't take a chapang and jump. She will
Yeah.
just jump, right? That's how it's done. And so many other things. And the party where all this happened, people are just like so quiet about it. There's so many things, dude. There are so many things. It is definitely abetment to suicide, or it is a murder. And the case is being so snubbed right now because the people behind this are just like,
So couldn't Arnav have done the same thing then?
what?
Like with that the person who died or committed suicide, they blamed it on Arnav, right? The wife of the guy blamed it on
Yeah,
Arnav.
exactly. There's so many things that could have been done. There are so many things. People could have been bribed to open the case again, or like the people who put this case on Arnab. It's India.
Like
Anything
they
is
just
possible in
wanted
India.
in for him. Apparently, like
Yeah.
they beat him up really bad. Like that's that. It's so weird,
This is
right?
hooliganism. What happens in India with all of this, it is outright hooliganism. What is happening in Mumbai, especially with Arnab, and what happened to Kangna also, like it is the
Oh
most
yeah, that was just
disgusting
wrong.
thing.
That was just
was just-
wrong.
And I'm sure he's getting beaten up like fuck inside jail right now. And human rights, if they don't fucking take a stand against this, no, like then I've
Yeah,
lost.
I think that's really fucked. I find the way India's right now with that big, and it sounds dumb as shit, right?
Hmm.
And it's a huge gamble. But I think the way it is, because of how spread out and how differential people's opinions are, it actually needs a dictatorship. It's so fucking
I
dumb.
was
But I really,
actually
and
thinking
if
the
it goes
same,
against
yes.
my belief, well, fuck me then.
I was
it's
thinking the same
it's
thing.
up to me to get the fuck out of there then.
Or
But
I've been thinking
like,
recently. I've been thinking recently. Democracy doesn't really work. Look at America. Look at India. Look at Pakistan is also democratic, right?
no, I think democracy works. I just think, and this is a mindset that was that I kind of got after reading a book, where I believe that life and time is cyclical. With over time, when one thing goes on for too long, it saturates and becomes bad, and it needs its opposite to come in to take effect to correct that. And when that saturates too much, you go back to ground thing. It's like the same thing. Like, I think, which is why I think right wing politics and left wing politics are like two sides of the same coin. Like, depending on the way things go, you can either find a balance where people, where things
Yeah.
work in harmony. Whether it's politics, it's not, like, see, that's the thing. It's not politics, it's ideology at the end of it. Like, it's
Yeah.
the way you think, right? I believe that, that people should be accepting enough of other people's opinions, but also respect enough to live your own life rather than
Yeah. Now, if
stick
you're
your dick
talking
in between
about,
places.
see, over here we can even think of having that liberty of open thinking and all that stuff. But in India, people are barely educated. Like, what, such a big population, what, barely 50, 60, 40% are educated. It's so, the poverty is like so much in India, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many people can you expect are educated?
Yeah.
And you're so right about dictatorship. Looking at what the UAE, China, Russia, these are all dictatorship countries.
China's been doing some fucked up shit to people though, and I think a lot of that's the
but
problem.
you
with
see how
dictator-
controlled it is. Number one, number two, what Shanghai and Beijing COVID cases are what so less because it's so controlled. And in India, it is democratic, and you cannot blame the government completely for the virus because people don't give a fuck
You
over
can't
there.
exactly. I think
People
it's so
are
stupid to blame
going
the
in-
government
yeah.
when shit
You
is
saw
succeeding.
paparazzi, they are going in huddles in big groups for pictures, not wearing masks. You can't expect to wear masks and touching each other and go like, oh, we were
Yeah.
wearing a mask, but how did we get the virus? What, like, it is, people are not educated in these countries. Even China, I'm sure people are not, like, there is a poverty in China as well, but because the rules are so strict, because everything is so strict over there.
There was, yeah, I completely agree with you.
What did you do that for?
This?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you that later. Like, it's not a signal. Go on. Like,
Oh, I thought you were like telling me to.
no.
Yeah.
Go on.
So, yeah, like, what are you doing? Stop doing that.
Okay, I'll tell you that story later. But like, okay.
But yeah, seeing all these countries, you kind of, I think India very much needs a dictatorship, strict,
And
and
you
that
don't
also
even know in what direction though.
very strict laws. Because people in India, they think they can get away with shit. No, that's why they do crimes like they do, like all this, the murder rate, rape rate, all
Yeah,
these
lynching and like just until now, bureaucrats, like people in positions of power, their kids do some fucking stupid things.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's always bureaucrats and their fucking kids and family members who just do a lot of dumb shit thinking they're invincible.
Shit,
They're just like, why, mate?
Honestly.
Like you have the influence that they have can be used for like
yeah,
for some good in the fucking country,
Yeah.
right? And they're just too busy abetting
Yeah.
stupid actions. How do you think the whole wave around we touched on this, like how a lot of liberals these days, like Gandhi didn't do anything to like help with consent, or like it's something that people have been disregarding.
Then
What do you leave
You
that
work on it now.
leave that
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, it was off of that, it just sort of brought me to this topic, which is like, how do you feel consent as a concept has been working in, whether it's Dubai or in the UAE or
I'll tell
in
you.
India?
I'll
As-
tell you one thing. Consent is like, it's good to hear, like, consent matters, but it's practice, that kind of practice that what you enforce into your children, instate into your children, instill on your
Mhm.
kids. You see your parents how they behave with each other, the children get influenced. Apart from that, humans have a tendency to do wrong, like
Mhm.
they want to, like, if it's just like like it is like some men are more what do you say, like aggressive, and they have that like, she said no to me, how can she say no to me?
Mhm.
It is common in every country. But the thing is, if the country's punishments, if you have that fear of either God or the law or anything, it stops you from doing wrong. Everyone has temptation and all these kind of things, like you want to, like, you feel like, fuck that person, like, fuck me over, I'm gonna kill that bitch, kill and steal and rob, and so many temptations are there, right? But you fear of what? Either God, a higher force, karma, the law. That's why you don't do it. And in India, specifically in India, there is no fucking law. The punishments are not strict. That's why people go out, commit these crimes with no fear whatsoever of being punished for it. once the laws get strict, that's why you think people here are not tempted. You think everyone here is educated to ask for consent? No, but they know if they get caught here, they will get fucked for life.
No, I'm talking about the other aspect of it. Like, I completely agree with what you've said right
Yeah.
now. Like, it's the fear of the law that keeps them. But, like, sometimes people associate, rape with, you're forcefully holding something down. Like, they think rape is Hathras or Nirvana, right? Or other cases where someone's like just not allowed to leave their room,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
physical
yeah. They
abuse,
think
like shit
it's-
like that. They think it needs to be that extreme
Hmm.
when, like, there's a spectrum of like what is considered assault and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the reason why I want to ask you is, I think Jake, a chick's opinion is so like important in this to understand and to educate. There are going to be people watching this. I think it's so important for them to also realize from a chick's point of view why shit works the way it works and why it should work the way it's like why that concept exists. Because as a guy, I can tell you that like anyone that I've hooked up with or whatever, I've like asked every step of the way. Like obviously I don't control making out in the sense that not that I go out and do it, but literally every time it's always been someone else, and there's like a lead up to it where like you're holding someone, you go kiss. It's very
yeah.
like making out is something that just like happens. I don't just walk down the street and like pull someone's fucking
Yeah.
head and do
Yeah.
stupid shit like that. But after making out, like everything, like you go to second base or third base, fourth, like every step of the way, everything you do, I have asked like fucking one step after, and to the point where like dude, like we've already done shit. I don't see why you're. And I was like,
Yeah.
I can't be fucked. I have to,
Yeah.
right? And
So
I've told others
yeah,
this,
yeah, I get it.
and
Yeah.
I've told guys this, that hey dude, it's good to enforce. It's like best practice. Just do it, right? And they're like, nah, dude, we never felt the need to. And I'm just like, bro, you. I'm telling you to do it. Like I'm telling you that there's a reason why you should, because like people still get caught out for some stupid shit after.
Yeah, that's
You should.
true, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's fairly like simple. You don't need to really ask if it's a hookup and all. Like, yeah, of course, like are you into this? Yeah, I'm into this.
Yeah.
Finished. But if like a girl is saying no, not in the mood, or no, or like even if a boy is saying no, not in the mood, it's a no. Like you stop it right there.
So this is what I want to ask
I
you. How
actually-
is
I'll tell
like
you one thing.
like not persuasion, but like just asking, like the whole, so I don't mean to break your thought, but like it's just important. It was always a question which people have different opinions to it. But if you go like, dude, I'm not in the mood, and the guy doesn't like force, but he's just like, "Arey, but come no," and then
Yeah.
like you do that, like you have that back and forth, and then she's like, "Arey, yaar, fuck you, okay, fine, let's do it,"
Yeah.
and she just does it. She gets all mind fucked, and like mind fucked is that she's just like, "Arey, yaar, I don't, ab
Yeah.
khush ho gaya, bas so ja." Like it's the same thing as in your friend, like I'm just giving you a situation, right?
Yeah, I
But
understand
is
what you're saying.
that really fuck? Do you consider that right? Do you
That
do you
is-
demonize the guy after that? Like make
No.
sure he doesn't have a life afterwards because he convinced and the girl accepted. Not that he convinced. She said no and he held her against her will. She just said, oh fuck it, fine.
Yeah, so in this case, I still think like it's damn fucking annoying. Like if I'm ever put in that situation, I would just get fucking like give the person the space that they're asking
Yeah.
for. And if you manage to, it's not convince. It's literally like like it's not harassment either, but it's just that that annoying, that irritating thing of just like let do it. Like when you ask your parents like give me this, buy me, that zid. But that zid is too much. It's like fuck it, do it, but like you don't enjoy it. The guy just gets to come out of it like what like if they don't want to, if they're not into it, like they're not into it. And also I'll tell you, one of my friends was telling me with her boyfriend, she was just like not in the mood, and he's just like, you're made of gold or what, that you think you're so pricey? Like I'm asking you for so long, let's do it, and you're not in the mood. You're not in the mood for how long? We're not in the mood, not be in the mood. You're made of fucking gold. Like what are you made of that I can't touch you? Like what the fuck is this? Like what the fuck is this?
Yeah, that's
like
fucked up.
no, it doesn't.
Yeah,
It doesn't
that's just
fucking work like
misogynistic.
that. It's not like you're made of gold, you're made of butter, you don't be pricey. No, the person wants their space. You don't own him. She doesn't own you. If you want your space, she wants her space. You fucking give it. You give that bloody space. You don't own anyone. Not even your dog you fucking own. You need to give people, animals, things. You need to give their own space. you can't keep controlling. I know people who cut off the wings of their birds so they don't fly away. Like, I can name them after this show. And it's just like, what kind of people are you, you know?
Hey,
Like,
I spayed my dog just now.
spade, it's like population control. That is, I think, right now necessary because so many go to the pound and they just get killed off. So having so many puppies and all at this point makes no sense. That it increases stray population and all that stuff. You didn't cut off her legs.
No, I want a dog that runs around.
I'm
Dude.
talking about wings,
Jesus Christ.
not like, you know, he cut off the wings.
He's demented.
Wings, you know, like
He must be
so it
fucking
can't fly.
demented.
So many people that
If you didn't want
the
wings, you
people
could have
that
got a
go
kiwi.
Yeah.
The fucking birds.
Yeah, and
They don't
his
fly.
thing was, oh, we didn't want a bird to fly away. Fuck, then get a pet that can't fly.
Yeah, so it's
Like what? God, you get a bird without wings? Like, come on. Like, can you cut off the wings? Like, not get a bird without wings. You get a bird and... Anyway, leave that.
yeah.
But it's just like, the person asks for space, you give that space. You're married, you're dating,
Oh, yeah.
you're anything at all, you give that fucking space. Like, every person, you know, like, the comfort level is so important. If you're not comfortable to get physical in that moment, you give, you know, like, and you continuously, you know, like, pester them
Yeah.
to give it. Like, what the person will give it eventually, you know, like, they'll just give like, oh no, what, fucking, like, do whatever you want to do it to me. But what, it's not fun.
Yeah, it's
for
not
anyone.
like, you know, there's like, for example, like something similar happened. Like, and I'll tell you why. I'm not talking about this just from any, like, yeah, like my friends have been in this situation. Like, I was in one where like a chick got on to me and she's just like, dude, fuck me now. And I was like, not really in the mood. She's like, Nikhil, don't be a bitch, like, fuck me now. I was just like, man, like, can we, like, maybe another time, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, man, don't be a fucking buzzkill, everything. She came, she sat next to me, and then
Did
she like made
feel
out with me.
anything when you fucked her? Because you
And-
only say that girls don't feel anything when I fuck them. So what
It's
is
really
it?
small, I'm not endowed. Like, you know, I'm not hanging big over there.
Wow.
But like,
So open about it.
see, for all I say, if they be coming back for seconds, I mean, that means
Yeah.
Nikhil's. No, but the thing is, she came, and I was very like, I didn't really enjoy it, right? But at the same time, I didn't like. Obviously, I felt like, yeah, that thing was like pressurized. Like, it was
Yeah.
more like, Nikhil, do it, and then you're like, okay, if it gets you to shut the fuck up, fine. Like, and we banged, like, you know, it got done. And it was like a
where is
20-second
the fun in
procedure.
that? Yeah.
Like, I'm just kidding, not 20 seconds. But like,
It took you or her 20 seconds.
which one do you want to believe? Which one is more believable, that I can get a girl
You tell me
off
the
in 20
truth.
seconds?
I don't even know. I don't even care. Like, either one is not a problem
No,
for me.
no.
People do it like in what, 10 seconds?
Exactly, personal record of mine,
10 seconds.
3.5.
Oh, that's like in and out and it's done.
Exactly, it saves time. Imagine.
Wow.
You can do it between meetings, you can do it before a Maggie gets
I have
fully
just
cooked.
turned asexual listening to this.
You're just not interested in guys or girls or anything
Yeah.
anymore. It's happened another time as well, where like there was like a chick who was just like all over because she was just like crying for this thing. And I was like, oh fuck, whatever. Like, it just
Trying
felt,
for sex
yeah, like
from
it,
you?
yeah, like it wasn't even like you just do it because you wanted to get it done. Like, you know, I'll never even think about saying, oh, you fucking forced me into this. What all I'm trying to establish is that the roles have been reversed in many situations where, like, the moment the girl gets like a thing that, okay, iski gaand marna, like, fuck it, and then they just go like, oh, you know, in this situation you fucked me over, and like, you know, this is now assault. And I'm just asking you, can you consider that assault? Like, because I haven't, like, it's happened to me and I haven't considered it as assault. So do you think it is assault or like that? Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the guy, if the roles
No,
are
it's
reversed,
not assault.
if the
course not.
roles are reversed, right? And if it's a
Yeah.
guy, like, if a
Yeah,
girl, if
roles reversed or not. Like, I understand what you're saying, but no, it's not
you
assault.
can't
It's
demonize
just-
a guy, but it's still wrong. It's still
it's
wrong. You
It's
still,
like emotional, like hatyachar type of
Yeah,
things, you know. But
like-
it's not assault. Like, it's not physical. It might be like emotional assault. To be honest, it is in a way.
it is, no,
emotional assault.
it is emotional
Because you know what
blackmail
you
and
might
shit.
have faced might be very minor, but some
100%.
people face like constant
Yeah,
fucking
that
pestering.
is-
Like, what, dude? What are you like? I'm with you and you're not doing it with me. What's the point
That
of dating? What's the
is
point
a
of being
problem.
married to you?
That is a problem.
Yeah.
That's why even marital rape comes, and that's very much a thing
Yeah.
that needs to be addressed. Like, they could have just taken the cue and said
Well,
no,
is there a-
but
Tell me, what was the question?
like the point is that, do you think that there's a spectrum? Like, because if the roles are reversed and if it's a guy who's telling a girl that, "Arey, like, let's bang now,
No,
let's
that
bang,"
is also
no,
wrong. Yeah.
it's not, it's, yeah, of course it's wrong, right? You should, if they say they don't want to, they don't. But if she just agrees because she just doesn't want to deal with your nagging ass,
Yeah.
right? Does that put you in the same league as Harvey Weinstein or like the other guys who've done worse? Like, does this mean that this guy needs to have his life destroyed over shit like this? Because I genuinely think that he shouldn't. He needs to be sat down and be taught that, dude, here's a fucking concept of consent. Your girl doesn't want to do it. Okay, fine. You want to just double check,
No,
like,
I don't
and then
think that's
don't
something.
fucking do
Yeah,
it.
I got your
Like,
question.
just
I got it.
give the dude an intervention.
Yeah, I
Give him
got
a
it.
timer,
No,
and
no.
if there's a repeated thing, then you take action.
Yeah.
Like, if this dude doesn't fucking understand, but don't you think rehabilitation, under like explaining the concept to some people who, because people
I
still
got
live in
it.
this
I got it. Yeah.
no, I'm just saying, even outside of this, people live in this world where they think that sometimes it's only body language, and that it's okay to, persist. And in an age where each thing can be misinterpreted, do you think that maybe, just maybe, rehabilitation, spreading awareness, and talking about it and engaging in those like conversations
Yeah.
is more important
Yeah, of
than
course.
demonizing someone immediately
Yeah.
and killing their life and talking shit about them? Like,
I feel like this has happened to you.
yeah, it's happened to me where people have just talked in general, and I'm just like, you don't even know the full story of what fucking happened, bro. Like,
Yeah.
like you're just out here chatting shit about something you may have heard. Like,
Okay. Okay, yeah, moving on. But yeah, okay, fine. Coming back to your question, oh, this is not something I'll tell you honestly, this is not something I can be like, no, you cannot demonize a guy for this, or you cannot demonize a girl for this. Every situation is so different. I cannot say something and say like,
okay,
this no, for this guy shouldn't be, so persecuted on. Every situation is different. Like I cannot, to what extent a girl or a guy faces this kind of emotional turbulence or whatever it is. I can't, you can't say.
yeah,
Everyone
it's
is so
not a
different.
blanket thing, but that again just brings into conversation
No,
that
if it's a very petty, like, like, let's do it, babe, let's do it, babe.
yeah, just that
Like,
sort of
that's like,
situation.
okay, like, come on, that you can deal with easily, or like, speak to him, or I don't think that needs, but really,
It needs conversation.
it needs conversation, but it doesn't need, like, go to the mohalla and scream to the world, like, my boyfriend is a rapist, my husband is a rapist,
Yeah,
my wife is a rapist,
people-
my girlfriend is a
yeah.
rapist. But you need to know, where, of course, it's very important to know what needs a conversation and what needs action and what needs punishment. There are three different things.
Exactly. That's exactly
Yeah.
what I meant. There's like a spectrum, like,
Yeah, there is
of-
a spectrum, and only the person who's going through it will
Mhm.
know what. So it's always important to know, like, not to get, jump ahead, and not to, like, really, find revenge in anything. Like, if it can be handled with a conversation, do that. Handled by action, like, intervention or rehab or something like that, okay. But and then if something needs punishment, like rape or anything, like molesting, harassing, then, you see what suits what. But everything is so different. I can't really
Absolutely.
say.
And
Yeah.
so that just sheds more light that, if since every case is so different, like, do you think that that means that things have to be heard?
Things
On-
have to be heard.
Like, the story needs to be heard by everyone, but like both sides. Like, how does the side factor into this? Like, how, in terms of, because in most cases of assault, there's no, it's not like stealing something from a store where people see shit, right? There are times where assaults happen where there are only two people in the room. It's he said, she said, and in some cases you can see visible signs at a party, like, where like some dude was continuously chasing someone, and then like people are there to attest to it, right? Which makes it easier, right?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that happen to like some people, right? Like, I've fucking seen some dudes like, be super stocky, creepy or whatever, to the point where like I saw them make a move, and then I was like, dude, even she just said no twice. Okay, get the fuck out. Like,
Okay.
stop. Like, and you prevent it, right? And it's one of those things where, do you think how do you think stories should be examined, or this
Okay,
thing? Like,
I'll tell you. For me personally, what I think, you know, it is, if someone makes up a lie, that's very different. But I feel like if you have gone through something, it is so important to get that message out. Like, no matter what you've gone through, you need to talk to someone about it. And I know what you're saying. You're saying, like, no like, even if it's a small thing, is it something to, go and tell everyone about, like gossip? If it's really serious, it's something that should be shared. But of course, like, gossip is something very
Yeah.
different.
Oh,
Attention
100%. Like
seeking
if I know
gossip is all
I know
different.
some dude's a fucking predator and I see like you hanging out with a guy, I'm definitely going to call you and go like, dude, maybe you haven't heard about this, but I've seen this dude do some shit. Just be on your guard. Like I'll at
Yeah.
least like as a friend,
Warn-
I'll
yeah.
just give you the thing that I've heard this shit, right?
Yeah.
Or like if I've been first hand witness to some shit, right? I will. Again, that depends on the degree, right? Obviously, if I've just heard some rumors,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna even bother giving you a call because I can't. I'm not gonna, if
Okay.
I don't
I'll
know
tell
shit
you
about
one
it,
thing.
I'm not gonna
I
back it
know
up.
what you're saying. I know what question you asked me. You asked me, like, about just gossiping about and
Yeah.
making up rumors and spreading it around about,
It's
like, a
no,
small
it's
thing.
less about that. It's more about like how much should you like.
Tell
People say
them.
believe all stories or
Yeah.
believe survivors. Period. Right.
Yeah.
And I tend to do that a lot when it comes to like more rural cases where people are still in that mentality that men are superior to women, who do it from misogynistic point of view, marital rapes in rural areas in India or like even urban areas in India where like households, like these lower middle class
No,
households
it
where they
happens
do
everywhere.
this
It's not
shit.
just rural, but I'll tell you, I get it. And
No, sorry. The reason why I made that distinction is because in some urban areas, there are a lot of times nowadays where chicks do it to clout chase, and that happens more in urban areas where like people reach a certain status, and to bring them down or to get some attention, they've done it. I'm not saying that makes up a chunk of it. I genuinely understand that that's probably just 1% of
yeah.
all cases tend to be false, like or 10% or whatever,
Yeah.
but majority of them are true.
But
Like
I'll tell you, okay, I'll give my example. Like, for me, I've already shared that with you, and like, I have no issues talking about it. So
okay,
I'm just gonna say it. Like, when I was 16, like, I went through something like this, and it wasn't out of consent at all. And I was drunk and I passed out, and it happened to me. And
jeez, I'm sorry.
so this guy, he went around telling people that that I was begging him for sex. Okay. And for me, it was not something that was in my I didn't know him, and it was like, it was a total rape. And I only remember flashes of it because I was passed out, but I remember waking up and all that, like the scenes of pushing off and all that. So, like, it was a proper rape. But everyone else knew, if to everyone else it was me asking him to have sex with me.
Jesus.
So
That's what he told people?
that's what he told people. But I at that time, it was when I was 16 years old, and I didn't want to tell anyone what happened, because it was, for
Yeah.
me, it was embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. So it wasn't, it didn't, if people had to believe that, they believed it. I didn't give a fuck. Like, I'm just like, I don't know, I just don't want to tell people what the reality was, because it was much more embarrassing than that to me at the time. But it is not embarrassing. Like, I should have, at that point, said it to someone. I should have tried to, get him, not get him down. Like, I should have, had him punished for what he did.
100%.
But I was just like, oh, I was underage, I drank, and all those things. And I'm just like, no, 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 no. But everyone goes through that, like, having those false accusations,
Yeah.
and having the people go around spreading false rumors about you. Even if it's not about sex, people go around saying, oh yeah, she's my girlfriend, but that person never agreed to, date.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
I just feel so like sad thinking about the fact that this plagues like 98% of women. Like it
I
like
think
like
almost
it's so
100.
fucking sad that every woman I've spoken to is like, oh yeah, I've gotten this, I'm just, and I feel so fucking broken thinking that like,
Yeah,
dude,
yeah.
what have we come to as a race, dude? Like, how is
Honestly.
this okay? How is it that like I'm glad women are at least getting to speak up now. That's the whole reason. Like
Yeah.
at least okay, even
People
if even
should
if
speak
even if
up.
10 out of 100 are bullshit,
Yeah.
okay, at least that remaining 90,
Yeah.
have gotten the courage to come and talk about it. So
Yeah, it takes. I was not. I wouldn't say lucky. I don't even know. Okay, I don't know the right word for this. But for me, I was passed out through most of it, so it wasn't as bad of not an experience of trauma for me as other women have it. Like, they're awake through the full thing. They really remember each and every second, and for them, it is fucking traumatizing. Like, it really shakes your whole world. And maybe not externally, internally, within the family, it happens to you, you know, uncle, brother,
Oh yeah, that's
father,
really fucked up.
grandfather, anyone, you know, and all over the world. And women really, like, it takes so much courage, and you will tell someone and then you get shot down, you know. You will tell someone like, you know, no, keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet, so you won't feel like telling anyone else
And,
because you're so
and
embarrassed.
I think that and it's so surprising to see that actually comes from a lot of women. Like actually a lot of women keep other women down. Like I'm talking about the older generation.
Yeah,
It's like, you know, your auntie and the Marcies who are all like, oh,
moms and
don't,
sisters and like,
yeah,
keep quiet, don't tell
you know,
anyone, don't tell
don't tell
anyone.
people about this shit. Like in reality, when you know, you should really be owning up to it, and it's okay to, like, it's okay to, and even now, like,
It's a tricky thing when a family members do it, then, you know, it's just, you know, the full honor of the family goes to shit.
I fucking hate that. I hate
So,
that fucking concept.
it is a very tricky thing to, you know, in that situation, what do you do? Because it will bring the full family name down. I get it, like, it is tricky, but it's very wrong to advise your child to keep quiet. It is what the right thing to do is go and speak internally without making a nuisance.
And support your child.
Yeah, support, and go and speak to that person and go like, if you lay a hand on this child, again, boy, girl, it happens to boys also.
Oh my god, yeah.
If you lay a hand on this child, on this girl, teenager, whatever, we will go to the cops with this. And this is a first and final warning. Why don't you speak of your story as well? Like, it's something you wanted to clear out, right? So why not?
I don't
share
I don't have
yours?
shit to prove to anyone, to be honest.
I know you don't
Like,
have anything to prove, but if you want to, if we've anyway come to that, like, why don't you just want to, like, you know?
because
So I'm sure girls like me also have faced. I'm sure guys like you have also faced, because I had that wrong connotation of you when three people came and told me this. So I was so, like, in the club when it was getting, like, you know, we were all dancing, it was getting heated up, not heated up, like, it was, the proximity was close. So I just had to clear it out then and there, because I can't keep anything inside. Like, I just cannot.
no,
But,
that's fair. Like, I mean,
I know, I understand the timing was very bad, but, like, you know,
it's right. No, but like it's also because that this was when 2019, right? Towards
2019 I went to that Sky Lounge. But anyway, I think
no, because that's pretty much the time where I started. 2019 towards the end is when I started being more open about it and talking about it. And I mean, no, when people come to me, they talk. But like the idea was, you know the story. But like I don't know. I feel like when the time comes, okay, fuck it. Like we can talk about it. But the whole idea was that the fucked up thing that happened with me was a chick thought, okay, the specific of it was just that there was no clear thing. Like I assumed consent through body language, right? Because she was like grinding on me, and when she told me to stop, I stopped, right?
she was
That's it.
grinding on you. What were you doing for her to say stop?
No, like she was grinding on me,
Mm.
right? Like she was on top of me, and we were just like dry humping, and then we flipped, right? And I went to like go finger her, and it all happened within like a matter of seconds, right? So she was grinding, like, dude. Till then, anytime I'd gotten to that step with someone, like the way we were, like our body language, that was like a point where I was like 19. For me, consent was very like body language. If someone told me they didn't like something, I don't do it. Like there have been times where like a girl's like, oh Nikhil, like I don't really want to go past like second base, and then next thing you know, like they've actually gone to third base. Like it's something like consent can be given or taken at any time. I understand that. And at that point, the moment she said, no, stop, I fucking stopped. That was my intent. Okay, she's not cool with this, we're good. So in my head, I'm like, cool, I didn't fucking do anything wrong, right? And obviously, there was like a communication thing there
Then what
too.
happened?
Like, and this chick acted like I fucking held her down, didn't let her go any of that. Because the fucked up part after that was she was sitting with me on like in the bed, right? You show me a hand, and I was just holding her hand like if she's next to me, I was like, hey, it's gonna be okay. Like you can talk to me about this. Like if you and she was like super distressed, right? And I was like fucking beating up over there. I'm like, oh my god, this chick's like super stressed out. People haven't come to my house and felt like this, and all of a sudden I feel like I've done something wrong, but I know I didn't, right? And I'm sitting and holding this chick's arm just like this, and then she's like, dude, I think I just need to go to my room. I'm like, okay, cool. And she goes out of my room, which is like the size of this room, right? And I'm just sitting right here in the middle. She goes out, and I'm like, hey, is everything going to be okay? She's like, she comes back in, kisses me in the lips, goes like, it'll be fine. And she leaves, okay? The bullshit that fucking followed afterwards was her telling the story that, you know, Nikhil held me down forcefully. And when I said, he put his hands in my pants, when I specifically said no. And he continued like figuring me when he said no. When in reality, what happened was at that time, she was grinding on me, and when my hands on her pants, it was behind. Like she was on top of me. I was really like grabbing her ass and like, you know, she was grinding on me. That was happening for 5 fucking minutes before any of this. She was making out with me while that was happening, right? So when I flipped her down, I was like, dude, she's been like I'm literally there are 10, like she had a whole of 5 minutes to say she didn't like it if she didn't like it,
Yeah.
right? And when I did that, when I moved on to fingering her and she didn't like it, I fucking stopped. Dude, I think stopping her to no is respecting that is you accepting consent over it. Like, you know, the thing that, you know, accepting that boundary that someone has drawn, right?
Yeah.
Then she went on to say that he didn't let me out of the room. He held me by my wrist and didn't let me leave when I wanted to. And he left a bruise on my hand. I'm like, dude, you do 10 different things where you could have gotten a bruise on your wrist. Like you're fucking albino. You could have hit your wrist moving, like you could have hit your wrist on a door to give you that bruise. You can't fucking blame that on me. I held you like this. Not even that hard. Like I'd have to hold you fucking hard to make sure I can leave a bruise. Like I just literally had a comforting arm on you. And who the fuck, if you've been assaulted, why would you come back into my room when you've left? Like when I asked you if everything is okay, you left my room, came back in, and then went out. Now that's bullshit. Because that's when someone, like any person, when there's a thing like that, like look, again, this is my thing. You have the right to feel the way you do. Okay? I have no control over that. But trying to sell the story that that's what happened, like just
And
because
she
you
went
feel
and
the
told
way.
this to everyone?
Yeah, and
Okay.
like just because you feel that way doesn't mean it's justified. You have the right, like you have the right to feel that way. Okay? But it can't be justified.
Yeah.
Is my thing. So which is where I've been super wary. Like when people tell me shit, right? I always go like I'm very like two sides to it. I like, and that's my general thing about everything. I don't just believe one side of fucking anything. Like that's just me as a person. I need two sides to every goddamn story. Like it's not just this. It could be fucking religion. It could be politics. It could be anything, right? But it doesn't, like obviously today. If you come to me and tell me that, oh dude, Nikhil, I was like assaulted by X, right? I'll be like, I believe you, like because from whatever you're the one telling me the story, right? Does that mean that I immediately start telling everyone about how that X is a rapist? No, because it's not my story to tell. It is your, like, for and as this is your thing to deal with. I do not have enough information. I have all the information I need to support you. I don't need to like the guy. If I don't know him, there's nothing for me to like because the first impression that I have of him is something that you've told me, which is negative, right? Now, for whatever reason, I get another side of the story, then the headache is on me. Now I have to sit here and fucking decide from my character, me knowing your character, that okay, dude, I've seen Simran in this light. Is there a reason for her to lie to me? Is there a reason for this guy to lie to me? Then I have to fucking do digging. Or most, it's very fucked being in one position. You get what I'm saying? After being through what I've been through, like understanding like who's bullshitting, who's not, because people can, like, if I do this to you, right? And
Ah,
yeah, and you act like, you just got assaulted, right? And you
I
believe you
think I
got,
just did.
and if you believe you got assaulted, right? You know how fucked up the narrative is.
This you gotta make up for by getting me custard apple.
Yeah, I get you a custard. But yeah, it's just like, it wasn't easy going through that. But it hasn't changed my stance on
That
that.
was really hard.
Fuck you. No, it hasn't changed my stance on, like, people
Yeah.
coming out. Even after what I've been through, I still feel that yes, if I was collateral damage, yeah, I know I'm in my heart of hearts, I can look at myself in the mirror and say that I was innocent, right? But if I was collateral damage for, maybe another 9 people who were caught and punished for actually assaulting someone, I guess I can make my peace with it. Because karmically, if I really did do wrong, I believe that I wouldn't be where I am today. I wouldn't be like, in terms of self satisfaction and thing of being happy or proud of where I was, because I knew I was in a fucking pit 3 years ago. To bounce back and do what I do
Because
now
of this
is
rumor.
different. Like, it's not just rumor, dude. Like, it's like people accepting it. Like, my own like people who I thought were friends who snaked me behind my back.
Oh, yeah. I got
And
to hear from friends only.
yeah, like people who snaked me for no fucking reason. Like, because here's the thing. At that same time, there were so many girls there. Like, there was this girl who I was like super close to. I spent so much time with her, right? And I literally spoke to her after 4 years, and she was like, Nikhil, I heard some shit about you, but I could never believe it. Because I spent time with you. I have been around you. Like, I was a single girl who was around you most of the time. And I know the kind of person you are, and I couldn't believe. I heard this shit from other people, and I couldn't believe it. I waited 2 years to clarify this with you. Even 2 years after not talking to me, she still had that thing. Like, and for me, it's shit like that that matter. The other people that I was friends with who still stuck, people who had half information, who still stood through, because that gave me that thing to understand that, okay, dude, just because some people painted me as assholes doesn't mean that I am, because where it matters, these guys stood by me. Like, there
Yeah.
are people who, even over here, like people like Josh or anyone else, right? When they heard of this shit, like, I knew Josh was one of the first people to fucking defend me somewhere else, right? Like, someone talk shit, he was there. When I told Josh, he's like, dude, I heard about this shit like 6 months before you told me this. I knew about this. I never confronted you because, like, I've seen the way you've been around people. It doesn't, like, it never once did tick off a red flag. I don't know about you. Have you ever fucking seen me like lectured upon people?
I haven't. And when I also heard it, like, see, the first time I heard it long time ago, not long time ago, like maybe 2 3 months, 2 months after meeting you. Not the party, but like when we started hanging out and stuff properly after I got introduced to you. I heard it. I didn't believe, but I think it's so important, like, not to, like, if this was an announcement, if anyone's watching it as an announcement, like, fuck, don't fucking spread rumors, like, it's like the boy who cried wolf.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you know, in two reasons. Okay, firstly, you cry wolf, and later, if anything, God forbid, anything happens in the future, people will just be like, this bitch is just fucking around, like she did, or like he did before. And number two, it really ruins the other person's life, boy, girl, transgender, she-male. It just ruins that person's life. And I think the biggest karmic biggest karmic thing you can have on your head is to ruin someone's life, emotionally, spiritually, physically, in any way whatsoever. You ruin that person's life, and more than, like, doing those small things, lying, stealing, all that stuff, that is the most atrocious thing you can do. Have someone's life ruined in your hands. So
Yes. But no, there was the thing as it dumped it was for you right now as someone on that side, right? Like, now you are someone who's gone through that traumatic experience, right?
yeah.
And to immediately like hear shit like that, and like, you being associated with me at that time, like, did that like how do you analyze it? Because now from a chick's point of view, when you hear shit like that about a guy that you
Yeah.
know, how do
See,
you
from
process that
my
information?
thing is, I know you. I'm not gonna go around, like, I heard that, and you were my friend, and you're still my friend. When I heard it, we were friends, so it's not like you were a stranger. Even if you were, okay, if you were a complete stranger, we started meeting at that time itself. Personally, I am someone, if I get to know something about someone I will be hanging out with, or I am hanging out with, I will confront and just get it out of
Yeah.
the way there itself.
Fair.
I really don't, it's not gonna sit with me how will that person take it, because I need it clear in my head. I'm not gonna go around asking everyone, or go around like, oh, did this, because that is spreading it more
Mm-hmm.
than it needs to be spread, or it's informing someone who doesn't already know something. So instead of me going and asking Josh, like, how is he, or asking, your was asking, say, do, like, how is he, like, I might as well just ask you and get the story out of you, and then later, if I choose to believe or not believe, then I can ask maybe your close friends, and
Yeah.
get a wider picture. But I chose to directly ask you, and I know where I asked you, the timing wasn't
Yeah,
like
that's fine though. Like, you
great.
had every right to. You had, like,
Yeah.
you had every reason to. But how do you process that information though? Like, in the sense that,
You
leave
said-
me if it's someone else, right? Like, how do you weed out? How do you, is it character at the
cannot-
end of the day?
Really, you cannot tell, like, I can ask a stranger, that person can outrightly, maybe he's done it, and he'll say, like, no, I've not done, like, how dare you, like, you think I can do something like that. Like, I don't know what to think. That's why I'm asking you, like, don't ask me, like, you think I can do something like that. Like, no, I don't know what to think. right? Like every people are capable of anything. And you clear out the story with me, and then we'll see, like it's a lot of things that factor in the person's emotions, reactions, actions, and sometimes they can fool you.
Yeah,
Sometimes-
exactly. That's my biggest concern.
Yeah,
Like, people can
sometimes-
always just bullshit and say, like,
Yeah,
they might have
exactly.
actually done shit. Like,
That's
how do you
why
clear
then
it?
later you see, like, okay, you believe that person. Okay, then you see how that person is with others, and in time will tell everything.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Right?
It
Time
brings
will
out your
tell.
true colors. You can't
Yeah.
always put on a facade everywhere.
Exactly. You will do something, say something that will show, like, okay, now I see where that person was coming from. I see. Okay, or if you decide not to believe them and go like, that person is fucking around, but she was not fucking around, you'll see how that person behaves with other people, and you can tell. Time will tell however you choose to take that.
Mhm.
You'll understand eventually. So it's, I think, very important to have that clarity from the person itself instead of going around and doing more rumor mongering. So having that confrontation and straight, from the source itself, that clarity, it's very, very important.
And as, at least as guys,
Yeah.
like, see, my message was like, after the shit that I went through is when I started telling my friends that, guys, please, hook up with whoever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Ask. Fucking ask. Please. Right? But then they had another case. They're like, what if I ask? She consents. And she's just, like, you can't deny that they're batshit crazy guys and girls, right?
Yeah, of course.
And like, you can ask for all the consent you want and she can just outright come and say, and like, this is again, like, how much do you believe it? Like, someone could just put on a fucking show for a while,
Yeah.
right? Like, cry, go the whole 9 yards, do, bullshit through it.
There's so many stories like this.
It
Yeah,
happens.
of
And I'm not
course.
saying... and
Both
it-
the genders, and it happens so commonly. But again,
Like, how
time
do you-
tells everything.
but then in that time,
In that
aren't
moment,
people... Like, okay, so I'll, like, just to give you an example, okay?
Hmm.
And like, it's happened before where like and it happened like for this American, and again, people bring this up, it's rare. I'm prefacing it with, it is rare. It's
Yeah.
not, I would say, like, what, 1 or 2 out of what, 10, 11, 12 cases are like this, where like it's a false claim, right? Which is fine. And you're always going to have, in terms of this bad data, like, you're going to have invalid, like, people who are going to fuck it up for the rest of them, right?
Yeah.
And like, it's shit like that prompts me to try and listen to both sides, like, where you kind of try and understand. Like, from my side, it was a lot of people who told me that, like, we didn't need to because we've seen the way you behave, straight up. My lesson after that was just ask no matter what, I guess. And it needs to be a bit of, like, have some... I did this dumb shit because with that girl, I was actually into her. I really wanted more. I wanted a relationship or something more. And based on the indication she had given from our previous time, I'm still not trying to say that I did everything fucking right there. I'm trying to tell you that that day what happened was, the previous time we hooked up, she said, we don't go to a bed because I'm not ready to take things to a bed yet. So we only made out. The next time, she invited herself over to my apartment, into my room. She put me down on the bed. She was on top of me, making out with me, right? So in my head, I formed that assumption ki, acha, maybe she is ready to take it ahead of a little further than making out, right? I'm not saying I'm 100% right. I was an idiot to not fucking ask every step of the way. I damn sure I'm not a fucking assaulter or rapist, because there were people, my classmates, chicks, who I've worked on assignments with, who have spent the night in my room in the bed with me. And in like a bed that's smaller than this, I made sure they had their own space. I'm actually intimidated by women. I'm not that... They don't see this. They think like I portray confidence. I am. But physically, I guarantee you, it's always women who make the move on me. I do not initiate the first move. I will flirt or whatever, but it'll always be like, hey, you want to make out, you fucking start it, not me. Like,
Yeah.
like I am that kind of guy.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I
like-
mean, like, you've been through that
fucking like,
experience.
and
you don't want to.
I've come back and I've told all these guys, and like, some people still underestimate it. They're like, I didn't know, bro, so necessary. I'm just like, dude, just fucking do it.
Yeah.
And as guys, right? And I want to address this only thing because guys are the root cause of this problem, right? What more can we do?
What more can
Can
you
we do
to ensure consent?
to ensure consent, into making sure that this problem can be evaded, or this situation can be evaded to the best, because consent is the root of it. Consent solves everything.
Yeah.
But in terms of more micro things, what comes to your mind that you see guys don't do often, that if they do enough can really, make a huge fucking difference?
Like when someone has to lie, they'll lie. But one thing, I don't know if you've seen this movie Guilt or Guilty on Netflix, the one with Kiara Advani, of this one guy.
Mm-mm.
No? Okay, so this in the movie, this guy was very, respectful to women, has had a girlfriend, very sweet, and he got accused of rape. And no one could believe that he raped. No one. But he was the rapist. He did rape. So, sometimes guys, like I was just gonna say, like, if they're just respectful to women from the very beginning itself, people will understand, like, it wasn't, like, it's not possible. But guys do put on shows a lot of the times. They will be very respectful, and then behind the scenes, what goes on in closed doors, only the girl knows. They can be very aggressive, they can be very abusive.
Yeah.
So there is not a particular thing, but only thing is, like, if someone lies, if someone has to lie, time will tell if that person was lying by seeing that person's behavior. And
But in that time,
in that time,
the
there is
damage that is done to the person
damage
that you
is
didn't
put-
believe is really
but you
fucked,
know
right?
what, honestly, the sad reality is, if that happens,
is.
the damage is done. Like that.
Yeah,
there
it's
will
what
be
happened to me. It's
damage.
it's actually
Yeah.
what happened to me, because there's so many like people who turned, like, for
Yeah.
example, in between, like, you and I were good, and then you and I hit like this pause where you wanted to clarify it, and once
Yeah.
you clarify it, we're good again,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But there were some people who've, in that process, who heard it from someone, right, and they just blindly believed it and just viewed me in a negative way,
Yeah.
right, until that changed later. But in that time where their opinion also changed, they were talking shit about me, and like multiple people, like, that's how people, like, I've grown to not give a fuck, because like it hasn't affected me in what I've done.
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking grateful that I'm able to, do what I do.
It
Like,
really,
no.
like, I understand what you're saying. Even when it happened for me, and this guy started going around saying I was begging, that time I was dating someone else, not the person I'm dating now.
Oh shit.
And
Yeah.
that person thought we were in limbo at the point, like, on again, off again types. And he thought I was a cheating whore. And I didn't even feel like clarifying, because I was more embarrassed of saying what really happened. So I just, like, what, you want to break up? We'll break up. Like, I didn't want to clarify. For me, it was
Dude, that's
embarrassing,
so
so I stopped it there. But when I agree, like, there is nothing, like, if the person has to believe something, they'll time will, now he knows the truth. I eventually did tell, like, after 1 or 2 years, but when I was comfortable. But when it happens, like, what can you do? Like, there is literally, you can always just be yourself. And genuinely, if you've not done, people can tell. And then the person seeing the other person also, they can tell, like, whether that person was lying, telling the truth. When someone lies, that's the thing. Like, if it's a lie, it affects, and then later you have to just see where, how things fall, where they fall, where the chips fall.
I just think that, it's so important to at least have discussions the way we do
Yeah.
right now. At least just talk it, to try and, like, I guess, like, for me, I learned it the hard way. But there's so many people who haven't been through that, such a traumatic experience. Like, after shit like that, I didn't want to fucking live like that. That was my suicidal time, like, where
That made you come. I'll tell you, in life, worse things will make you suicidal.
Oh,
Not someone like, I know this actually is a huge thing.
because it's the way you view, right? When people
Yeah.
start telling you that when of very, like, when an institution that doesn't even implement due process, like, tells you that, oh, yeah, you assaulted someone. What do you do? Because the whole time you've grown up believing, like, dude, I'm raised in a family where my mom's a breadwinner. I've grown up with the when people straight up, I've grown up in a system where people are like, what does your dad do for a living? And I'm like, no, it's my mom who's a breadwinner. It's like, I understand where you're coming from, but like, I've grown up with a thing that women are not just equal. In a lot of cases, can be more. Like, it's a fucking cycle, mate. Like,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. I've had my fair share. I've done dumb shit. I've, like, growing up out of anger. I've also done the whole thing of calling a chick a whore, a slut, a bitch. I've done that.
Everyone has
I've done that.
shit.
Like, but I stopped.
Yeah,
I'm
you
22. I
grow.
don't do that shit
Yes,
anymore. I
of course.
acknowledge. I look back 6 years ago and go, like, that was a fucking dumb thing to say. But I'm
Yeah.
not that person anymore, so it doesn't fucking matter, right? you grow, you all do dumb
this
shit.
is why I think it's important for parents. Like at that point, I would think like, why would my parents check my phone? But I think it is important for parents to keep a tab of what their kids are doing and always put them on the right track, because that's when you're
Preventive.
adolescents, right?
Because you can
have
be wrongly influenced as well. Like,
yeah, exactly. No, I think it's important to give people the space to grow. If they fucked up before, like they
Don't
will
hold
learn
them to
and grow
it.
from it.
Yeah, don't hold them to what,
Yeah.
like, it's the same shit, like, you feel like politicians are actors. They brutally, like, demonize them for some dumb shit that they said, like,
In the
20 years
past.
ago.
Yeah.
And automatically think that you're that. No, you're not. Like, I mean, fucking find better things to do, dude. Like, this
Yeah.
person fucked up, but do they believe in that now? No, like,
I believe in punishment for sure. Like, speaking of this, I'm mixing up a lot of things. And speaking of like, you should never hold someone accountable. That's true. You should not. And I'm speaking in terms of like, fairness screams. Like Priyanka Chopra did a fairness scream in the beginning of a career. You're gonna hold her accountable now. Like, come on, like grow up. Like she did it. Shah Rukh Khan did it then. You're holding her accountable now. Like finished. The statute of limitations has like passed.
Yeah.
And they will probably not do it again. They have learned. In the beginning of your career, you think of exposure. You think of money. You think of all these things. So you do this. It happens. People make mistakes. But in the cases of that juvenile in the Nirbhaya rape case who got away, he deserved to be punished.
100%.
Not like
100%.
Yeah, not
100%.
like let go and like he learned from his mistakes. No, that deserved punishment.
Yeah.
Not like fairness. Like okay, that is a big problem. Fairness products, fairness screens, all of this, like it's such a big problem, racism, discrimination. But holding someone who didn't add for money and like they should have had better awareness, but that time no one said anything. That time it was accepted. Now it's not accepted. Times have changed, people have changed, thinking has changed. So I'm sure something we're doing now, like you said, will not be acceptable later on.
Oh, and this is a really, really nice chat. Like, I really enjoyed
Likewise.
talking. And you really brought up a topic that I've kind of been pushing down. Thank you for giving me the courage to talk about it. I think it took me some degree of courage to accept me for who I am, to talk about it with people in general and share that on a one-to-one basis. Doing it on this platform, honestly, like it's making my heart fucking go thap thap thap. But at the same time, I think what just made me think was, hey, if I was actually an asshole who did that, I don't think I'd be talking about it. To be honest, like it just gave me the thing, right? If you actually didn't do anything, if you didn't do anything wrong, what the fuck's there? Like obviously people are going to take it out of context. Obviously, if people do listen this far into the podcast, they're going to have opinions. I don't think it matters.
But I think you'll get more support.
It's not about more support.
I'm
like
sure
I don't care for more support.
Dude, there are so many people and you don't even know like so everyone has different experiences, right? Everyone's been with so many people throughout their lives. It must have happened once or twice. So you sharing your story, people will say that they have faced the same, or they know someone who's faced the same, like dude, girl, guy, doesn't matter. A lot of people have been through, and I also told you, like I also went through the same. So I totally get where you're coming from, and it is painful at the time, but you just have to move on.
Thanks for giving me the courage to talk about it. I appreciate it.
I enjoyed this conversation too.
I feel like there was like a huge fucking weight that went down making this, and this is the whole point. Like each podcast that we've done has added so much value, especially in this case. Like help me get. I mean, I already overcame a fear, but you could overcome something more. Thank you very much for that.
I'm thank you for sharing also with me. I was, I didn't think you would. So that's good to hear your side once again, very clear, and it does take a lot of courage for sure. So good job. And proud of you.
Yeah, I just hope this added some degree of value to anyone that's listening. I just,
yes.
And hope that you guys could pick up a thing or two, keep it in your pants, ask for consent.
Yeah, but we're not here to teach. We were here to just like talk. So,
And always, if you pick up a thing or two, that's the whole idea of the podcast in general. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Cheers. Until then, stay safe. Keep it in your pants. Ask for consent.
Yes, all of that.
You. Yes, you. Thank you for watching the Chronic Nirvana podcast. And if you aren't following us on Instagram yet, what are you waiting for?
What are they waiting for?
Make sure you do right now. Like before you stop everything you're doing and follow us on Instagram right now at Chronic Nirvana.
100%.
And if you have any friends that would like to be a part of the podcast, has an interesting story to say, please let us know in the comment section below or on Instagram.
And if you feel like you yourself have an interesting story to share and want to be a part of the podcast, make sure you DM us on Instagram or just leave your suggestions down in the comment section below on YouTube or on Instagram or wherever we put out the podcast, honestly.
100%. And if you don't have the time to watch a Chronic Nirvana episode, please do check out the Chronic Nirvana clips on YouTube and get yourself a new job.
So this is Nikhil
and I'm Dakshey.
And this is Chronic Nirvana.